All right, today we're diving into something called the witness files. It's this huge archive of testimony, and it claims to blow the lid off some of the world's most deeply hidden secrets.
So get this. We're talking about 767 individual witnesses. And this isn't just random stuff. This archive has been put together over decades. Every single person in it claims to have been on the inside with firsthand knowledge of secret government projects, the kind that operate way off the books.
Now, you might be thinking this is all about little green men and flying saucers, right? Well, that's not what these witnesses are saying. Their collective story points to something much closer to home. And honestly, it's way more disturbing.
So let's get into the real secret here. This is where the whole narrative gets flipped on its head. It completely reframes how we think about what the government now calls UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Okay, brace yourself, because this is the bombshell claim. The big secret isn't that we're being visited by aliens. No. The secret, according to these witnesses, is that we figured out how these advanced craft fly. We have them, and they've been used in criminal operations since way back in the late 1950s.
So, let's break this down. On one side, you've got the popular theory, right? UFOs are aliens visiting us. But on the other side, you have the witness claim. They're saying, nope, a lot of these things are man-made. And the goal isn't just to prove aliens exist, it's to expose a massive, illegal, totally unconstitutional operation.
All right, to really understand what they're talking about, let's pull a file from the archive. This is case file The Marine. It's the first-hand account of a guy named Michael Herrera, a U.S. Marine.
Okay, so picture this. It's 2009. We're in Indonesia. Michael Herrera is a young Marine, and he's not there for combat. He's on a humanitarian mission, helping out after a massive tsunami. He's there to save lives, you know?
So he and his unit are out on patrol, and they stumble into this clearing in the jungle, and they see something that just shouldn't exist. It's a huge, triangular craft, just floating. Totally silent, except for this low hum, kind of like a transformer.
But it gets weirder. It's not just the craft. There are these heavily armed guys all around it. They look like Delta Force, but they've got no patches, no insignia. And what are they doing? They're loading these big, strange crates onto this thing.
So naturally, you're wondering, what's in the boxes? Herrera's mind goes to drugs, maybe weapons, but this is where the story takes a really dark turn. The person who compiled this archive claims a high-level source later told him what was in those crates. It wasn't weapons. It was trafficked human beings, being moved around using this secret technology.
And the cover-up? Of course there was a cover-up. The Marines were stopped, they were threatened, and they were forced to sign NDAs. They were basically told, you saw nothing, and if you ever speak of this, there will be consequences.
Okay, that was a soldier on the ground. Let's look at another case file, because this one comes from the complete opposite end of the spectrum, the very top of the Pentagon. And this story, it points to a total breakdown of the entire constitutional chain of command. The man at the center of this is Admiral Tom Wilson. Now, you need to understand who this guy was. At the time, he was the J2. That means he was the Director of Intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Put it this way, if there was a secret, it was his job to know it. He was the guy. So, Admiral Wilson gets a briefing where he's told these secret UAP programs exist, and what does he do? Exactly what you'd expect the top intelligence officer in the country to do. He says, okay, I need access, read me in.
But here's the kicker. He goes to the program managers who apparently work for a private contractor, and they flat out deny him. They looked the Director of Intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the eye and told him, sir, you don't have a need to know. Can you even imagine that?
Let that sink in for a second. If the guy whose job it is to know every secret in the military is told he doesn't have the need to know, what does that mean? It means that program is operating completely outside the law. It's criminal. It's an unconstitutional operation that doesn't answer to anyone in the legal chain of command.
So that's the big problem, right? If these programs are real and they're totally off the books, how do you ever bring them into the light? Well, the people behind this archive have a strategy for that.
It's actually pretty straightforward, like a classic criminal investigation. Step 1, you get Congress to subpoena just one high-level witness. Step 2, you make them testify, under oath, in a public hearing. From there, you just follow the breadcrumbs. Their testimony will point to the next person and the next, and you just keep pulling that thread until the whole thing unravels.
Sounds easy enough, right? But of course it's not. The source for all this warns that there's a huge power struggle going on behind the scenes.
We're talking about incredibly powerful people who will do anything to keep this secret buried.
And the roadblocks they're willing to throw up are pretty intense. They mention things like disinformation campaigns designed to confuse Congress, corruption, like threats and bribes to keep people quiet, and then there's the most terrifying one, the potential for a false flag event, a fake alien attack staged using their own secret technology to scare the public and grab even more power.
So all of this leaves us with one really big and frankly pretty scary question. If everything in these witness files is true, if these secret programs are really operating beyond the law, then who in the world has the power to stop them?